My name is Kayse Gehret. I am the founder at Soulstice Mind and Body Studios. We are based in Northern California, and we do massage therapy, meditation classes, yoga classes, retreats, all kinds of healing arts goodies. So welcome. I have recorded a series of videos for you guys. I have been a massage therapist and body worker for a couple decades now. I've been in the field for a long time, and I love it. I love it, and I love working with newer therapists coming into the field. It's such a beautiful, important time to be coming into the healing arts. So congratulations and thank you for joining this community. This work is so important to our world right now. We are in such deep need of healing. People are realizing kind of their old coping mechanisms aren't working anymore. And we need to get real about our self-care, about healing ourselves, healing our communities, and healing our planet. So here we are today together. So welcome. Today, I wanted to talk with you about a topic that is a notorious thorn for massage therapists and body workers and healers in general, and that is money. So a lot of us have a hard time with this topic. So I wanted to just first begin by acknowledging that if you have issues around money and charging and pricing your services, and if you have stuff around this topic, just know you're not alone. It's super, super common for all of us at all stages of experience. So yeah, just knowing that you're not alone in that topic. So I wanted to lead this topic with kind of altering our perception of money and consider money resources. So we're not just thinking about money as paper, credit card. It's money is energy, money is resources. So when you're viewing it that way, it's more open. It's more about resources moving from one person to another within your community, creation. What are you giving, adding to? It's a more expansive way of looking at money, investment, compensation. It's expanding your notion of that. So always keep that in mind in this talk today, as well as you go forward in your practice, because I think societally we're in for some shifts in the way we view money. This has been long in coming, and we really need to recalibrate what we value in society, among them healing arts, healing ourselves, healing ourselves, knowing ourselves, spending time with ourselves, and having the tools to heal, grow, and empower ourselves are fundamental and should come before everything else in our life. Everything else comes from our mental, spiritual, physical, and emotional health. So we need to value that. We need to appreciate that. And part of that is with our resources, our time, having that be worthwhile and holding that as something that's sacred and very much worth investing in, versus an add-on additive to life or a combat of stresses, of pain. It really needs to shift that the healing arts be a fundamental part of life, and then your life goes on from that. So that shift is going to begin with us. So it's going to take us first to value ourselves, our services, being very clear on our intention and what we're about, because it's up to us collectively to shift the perspective of people, to shift the paradigm of what we value in society. So for the last decades, hundreds of years, we have been in a very mechanistic society, very analytical, very, accomplishments. And this is true from our education system to our corporate system, workplace system. So that has been very rewarded for, accomplishment, money for sure, in the limited sense of money that we know it, acquiring things and stuff. So all of that is shifting, and we really need to be leaders of that, because people don't know there's a different way of being until they're shown a different way of being. They can read it, but until they see it and feel it in other people, that is what's going to inspire them to shift what is important to them, what they value, their priorities. So just know you as a healing artist are not just caring for people, you are inspiring people. You are showing them a different way of living. You're showing them a different set of priorities. You're showing them an ability to be happy by what you do and who you are and what you create, rather than what you have, or your title, or making a lot of money, or power. And so it's very powerful when you shift your thinking. So for more than several years, the healing arts have very much undervalued, I think, our role. And most healing artists are very humble. They tend to be introverts. They tend to be the least self-promotional people on the planet. So, we're kind of the last people out there that are kind of selling ourselves and like staking our ground as to our value. We kind of wait for people to discover that for themselves. However, I feel we're at such a critical time, and I feel like a lot of times people need to be taught how to value something. And so that's where I believe it begins with us, in terms of how we respect ourselves, how we price ourselves, how we carry ourselves and conduct our practices. That will teach people, you teach people how to treat you by the way you hold yourself and the expectation you set as to how you will be valued and treated. So all of us, if we all work together and get on board with that and really value the work we're doing in the world, we will together, slowly shift people's mindset that this is worth valuing my time, investing my resources in. We have for the last forever, valued things like investments and building things and moving piles of money from one pile of money to another pile of money, versus creation, imagination, healing. That is the time we're moving into. So let us hold that as sacred, valuable, and worth investing in. So first thing I want to talk to you about was just pricing your services. When you are new, and my talks are mostly geared for, massage students or people new in the field. But again, this will apply to you at any level of practice and additional other healing arts services. So when you're pricing your services and you're new, it's completely fair to have a little bit of like talking with yourself and going, I don't completely know what I'm doing. I feel I'm hesitant to charge full price for something because I'm not an expert yet. That is a fair conversation to have in your head, but you want to balance that with the reality and confidence that we all have to start somewhere. So everybody is new in their field at some point, and that doesn't mean you give things away. Most of you coming out of school now have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of training. You've invested a lot of your lives, a lot of your resources. You're coming out as a professional. So I say err on the side of, confidence, and you're ready. You are ready to set professional service rates. I have seen some practices and some collectives where the pricing is slightly different dependent upon experience. So it's not couched in a way where, this therapist is new, they don't know what they're doing, so they're cheaper. It's more so they're at one rate, and then the expert, tons of experience, mastery level body workers will be at a higher rate. So it's adding expense for very, very senior practitioners versus a discounting of newer people. So there's a way to stagger the pricing for someone with less experience, but doing it in a way that doesn't undervalue the services, if that makes sense. Also, the discount culture. We've had this in America for ages, like coupon culture and Groupons and discounts. So we're very dealy people. So we like our coupons, we like our discounts. We like to feel like we're getting a discount. However, I think, and we in the healing arts have really plunged into, offering discounted services, for better or for worse. So again, with shifting the paradigm and the perception of how we are valued, you want to think of yourself, do other professional services offer coupons or negotiate their rates or barter, or when clients ask for discount, do clients ask for discounts? It's like, no, we don't. When you go to the dentist, you don't negotiate what your teeth cleaning costs. You don't go to a lawyer and negotiate with them individually what their hourly rate is. So again, we need to hold to our rates, and regardless of what has happened in the past, it's time for us to raise the bar and value our services, and not, with very few exceptions, offer discounts and coupons, because it undervalues you, and it undervalues the work that we're doing. Selling the experience and the benefits is very important as compared to a one-off session. So I encourage you, when you're approaching, pricing, selling your services, you approach it from the mindset of, it's not just going to be this one session, it's going to be a ongoing relationship that it's hopefully someone you will see many, many, many times over time. So when you're pricing, you'll do things slightly differently when you take the long view versus the short term. I really need money right now. Let me do one discounted session here. So again, come from the perspective of you're building a long-term client relationship, and allow your pricing to reflect that, and your interactions to reflect that. Also, there are tons of, we call them, I'm trying to think of diplomatic, like the foot rub places. So in cities all around the country, there are lots and lots of massage places where it's uncertain, are they actually doing therapeutic massage in there? It's a question of are they actually doing therapeutic massage? Are they legally operating? Are their therapists licensed? Are they actually therapists? Are they being trafficked? So there's so much to this, but in terms of your pricing and selling of your services, you will hear, if you're in an area where these places exist, you'll get a lot of price comparisons from callers and clients, and say, well, you're charging $90 an hour and I can go to blah, 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 and the foot rub place and it's $35 for a full body massage. It's completely different. It's apples and oranges, and those of us in the industry know that. I choose when we've gotten that at our studios, our therapists are so obviously not just doing foot rubs for people, they're doing deep healing work with people, therapeutic physical work with people, and so as the founder and owner of the place, it's really me in our studios that sets the tone for the level of deep reverence and respect for what our practitioners are doing. So I encourage you, if you're in private practice, that'll be up to you to do that. If you're working for an establishment, it's important that the leadership do so. So I'm very, very proud and very confident of our team of massage therapists. So it's very easy for me and our team of studio coordinators to explain to customers, we're not negotiating down to match the foot rub place and charging $35, because the work our team is performing here is well worth the investment. Our prices are very, very accessible in comparison to the San Francisco Bay Area that we live in, because we do want to make our services available to a great number of people who otherwise wouldn't be able to receive services. So that said, be true to who you are, be clear on who you are, be consistent is huge. Don't get into bartering and negotiating, and don't feel you are unjustified in charging what you're worth and what your team is valuing the services for. What else? Confidence. So when you're new, again, it takes practice for all of us at the beginning to talk about money, because money is really an emotional topic for a lot of people. Oftentimes people's behavior around money, it's multi-layered, and it goes way beyond just money. So when you're working with people around what you're charging, just know sometimes it's about what you're charging on its face, and then sometimes people can have other issues going on that have nothing to do with you, that manifest in the way they approach money. So again, my best advice for that is be clear, be really consistent, don't be waffly, and just the right people who appreciate you will appreciate you and be happy to pay for your services, and be grateful for that. And the people who want to barter and negotiate and control, they'll be best served going to someone else. Just have that trust and faith in yourself. So charging what you're worth and what your practice, where your practice is in your level of experience. So I want to caution you, so you can undercharge, but you can also be overconfident and overcharge. So I have found that a lot of times, if you overcharge, it's usually a sign of overconfidence in your level and skill ability where you are now. The problem with that, you won't always know it, except that people won't return. So you might get people coming once. If you really set your rates crazy high and aren't able to deliver on the level of experience pricing would promise implicitly, you'll have disappointed people. So, and you won't necessarily know why they're not coming back. So you just want to keep an eye out for that. Because it's much easier to increase your rates over time, gently. If you increase $5, $10 every year, people who love you and are bonded with you and so appreciate your work, they're going to be completely understanding the cost of living goes up for everything. But it's harder to overprice yourself and then come back later and have a slow practice and not know why. This is a big topic. So people like to sometimes, when they travel, they're like, hey, I went to Thailand and massage was $10. It was $10. And they're like, well, our rent is a little bit higher where we are than in Thailand. So that is another thing that seems to be unique to the healing arts practice. Yes, when you travel, things are, everything is less expensive in Thailand, whether it's, sandals or hats or, gum, it's everything. So, but people, for some reason, the healing arts has this history of being negotiable. And this is one of the things we need to together change, because yes, it's irrelevant in a completely different market and cost of living what massages cost in those places. So again, just be clear, consistent about yourself, and you don't need to compete with a foreign country in terms of your rates. Another one that people use quite frequently, especially here in California, is real healers don't charge money. Right. So this, in part, I find is very manipulative a lot of the times. So it's guilt tripping you into undervaluing the work you're doing because of some gobbledygook. It's completely false, for one. Again, money is just energy. Money is resources. Money is value. It shows what we value. Where we direct our personal resources says everything about our priorities. So by someone saying, spiritual development work or massage therapy or yoga, I shouldn't have to charge for those things. Or if you are a healer and you are charging those things, you're somehow less than, or not real, or I find it very, very manipulative and untrue. So the place where that's coming from is, in ancient times, healers, artists, spiritual seekers were highly, highly valued in some societies. And in those cases, as we know, we can do our best work when we can kind of be in the world, but not of it. We thrive when we feel safe to do our work, when we're free to do our work. A lot of our therapists work with us because they're tremendously talented. They can work wherever they want. They could have a private practice if they want. But a lot of them choose to be with us because we handle all of the worldly stuff. We do the administration and the bookkeeping and the phone calls and the money and the credit card processing, and they can do their best work if they don't have to worry about all that other stuff. So in ancient times and other cultures where healers were revered, they were, supported by the king and the queen, or, the emperor, or whatever. It would put them in a castle, and so they were free and supported and revered. And this was true of healers or artists. it shows what a society values by where the resources are directed, right? At a very fundamental level. So in those cultures where art was revered, healing was revered, spirituality and discovery was revered, you will see resources from the government, from the leaders, from the people being directed toward taking care of those people who are showing leadership in those areas. So my hope is that's where we are going. It's going to start with us to value ourselves in that capacity, but we are not yet there where people are giving us, castles to live in and paying for all of our housing and our food so that we can be free to perform healing services for people. Until that day comes, we need to charge money. So anyone who is trying to guilt you and pulls out that card that like real healers don't charge money, I just don't believe in that. And again, I find it very manipulative to present that. So again, stand your ground. And again, this is often presented as a way to get you to lower your pricing or discount your pricing. And again, just stand firm in that, value yourself, and feel free to remind people that it's the cost of living is the cost of living, and you have to support yourself. And this is your chosen livelihood to do so. So boundaries and self-respect, just again, echoing what I said earlier, it's up to us. Like, don't wait for other people to value you, to respect you. They will mirror and reflect what you place a value on. So those are my main, what's my main advice on pricing and money. I would love for us to not be intimidated by the topic of money. So the more we can support each other in pricing ourselves, valuing ourselves, the way we regard each other and our practices, holding vast respect for complementary healing artists, I think is so important, so that we can, as massage therapists, we're all very close and we have a natural kinship to each other. But as we come to all work together interdependently, that acupuncturists, chiropractors, naturopaths, there's so many different healing paths, and the more we work together and we don't value one over the other, one better than the other, just coming from the approach of they're all wonderful, we're all working toward the same aim. There are no shortage of bodies on the planet. There's definitely no shortage of healing that needs to be done. So the more that we value ourselves, but we also value everybody in our healing world, it brings us all up. So that, whatever form our healthcare system, as it grows and develops and changes in the coming years with the necessities that it needs to change, that we all are understanding of we can meet people in their own individual way, and again, not be stuck in old boxes and old paradigms of, Western medicine is here, alternative medicine is here, Eastern medicine is here. Coming from the approach of the whole will be really valuable, both in terms of valuing our services, elevating all of our professions, elevating the philosophy and idea that people's personal healing and personal health needs to come first and foremost, before everything else. And it is absolutely well worth investing daily time, resources, making it a priority to all of our lives, very fundamentally. So yeah, I hope that was helpful for you all. As always, if you have any questions, we're easy to find online. You can find us at Soulstice Mind Body Spa. We love hearing from everybody in the industry, so please do keep in touch. If you have questions, please find us and zip us an email. We're happy to answer and incorporate them into future videos. And we hope you have a really beautiful day. All right, thanks so much. Bye-bye.